Are you serious? Are you serious, guys? We've got a terrible situation taking place last night in Hawaii. 9 people are dead as a small airplane, a twin-engine aircraft used by skydivers, just crashed, just fell out of the sky. Now, if you remember, Mike Around the World talked about this, that there would be small planes would start falling out of the sky in different locations around the globe, and for no reason, for no apparent reason. Now, this plane just did that, and there was 9 people killed all on the plane as the plane was seen just falling, literally, out of the sky. The mangled remains of this King Air plane photos have been presented, and people are very upset. Let me tell you about why Nibiru or Planet X or the Dwarf Star or the binary systems, why this may be causing this unbelievable amount of small planes everywhere now falling out of the sky. First, a quick shout out to a company called The Federal Millionaire. The secret to becoming a millionaire, according to this man by the name of D.R. Barton Jr., can be summed up in 2 words. He says passive income. D.R. Barton Jr., who's now a self-made millionaire, had a 9-to-5 job. He dreaded opening the mailbox because it was always full of credit card bills, late mortgage payments, and that thing. Back then, he was on a 1-paycheck job where he got paid every 2 weeks and barely enough for his family to get by. But today, he loves making that same trip to the mailbox because he knows when he opens it, he's going to find a check. Matter of fact, he didn't have to spend a second of his life working to collect it. Even better, he says, uncovering little-known alternative income streams has now made him a self-made millionaire. How did he do it? It changed his life, and it gave him complete financial freedom. Now, the Federal Millionaire Guide, he's so excited that he can help make this a reality for you as well. And he isn't going to waste a moment. He says over 100 government agencies are required by law to pay rent. The checks they're cutting is creating $11.1 billion. And thanks to select private companies, it's very easy to get your piece of this action. And he will show you how to get on the distribution list. You could even be cashing a $1,795 check. Just go visit him at thefederalmillionaire.com. You can watch his free video on how he explains he did it. To see how D.R. Barton, and hundreds of thousands of other United States citizens are paying their rent with federal rent checks. Find out how you could cash that $1,795 check at www.thefederalmillionaire.com. That's www.thefederalmillionaire.com. Now, here's what's going on. 9 people are dead. When a small twin-engine aircraft used by skydivers crashed last night near the Dillingham airfield on the Hawaiian island of Oahu. Family members of the skydivers were reportedly not far from the site when the crash happened. It just fell out of the sky. The mangled remains of the King Air plane were seen in photo posted by local newspapers and distributed by the Associated Press. And in 44 years as a firefighter in Hawaii, one man said this was the most tragic incident we've ever had. Honolulu Fire Chief Manuel Neves told the Star Advisor, describing the accident and how that this plane, literally, folks, fell out of the sky. Now, Nibiru, Planet X, the Dwarf Star, a binary system, even biblically called wormwood, is some type of binary, massive planet with several moons around it and other planets in its orbit, as it's going by again after 3,600 years since its last arrival. It is closer this time than it was 3,600 years ago. In other words, when it gets to the closest point to the Earth, it should be closer, it will be closer than it was during the days of the plagues of Egypt. Now, even though the Bible, the Old Testament Torah, explains what happened during the Exodus, how that there was all these plagues. The river Nile turned blood red. There was the lice, the frogs, the flies, the locusts, hailstones that were huge, mingled with fire. There was disease on the cattle. There was 3 days of darkness that actually happened during the plague of Egypt, and a whole lot more things that took place. Eventually, the firstborn of Egypt dying. Now, during this same period that God was using the plagues upon Egypt to deliver the Hebrew children, the children of Israel, from the bondage of the Egyptians, there was also cataclysmic events going on around the globe. It was recorded by ancient writings of the Peruvians, who spoke of massive tsunamis that went as high as the mountains. And there was cataclysmic events, cosmic encounters of fireballs recorded by the Mayan Indians at the same time period. Also, the North American Indians spoke of tremendous extreme weather conditions, rain bombs, lightning strikes so deadly, killing villages, hailstorms, extreme cold, extreme heat, and weird winds, straight line winds, they would say. They called them weird winds or wicked winds. Different things was recorded, all by the North Americans. Also, the Asians recorded quite a bit of catastrophic events. And also, there was even writings besides the Torah of the Old Testament. The Egyptian hieroglyphics and writings also spoke of this time. So different things went on, folks, and has been recorded by different, civilizations, yet at the exact same time period. So according to Emmanuel Velikovsky, it is the same time period as the plagues of Egypt. So God used the heavens shaking and the fires falling from the sky mingled with hail and all kinds of diseases and plagues and locusts and flies and what have you to break the children of Israel free from that bondage that they had. Even a strong straight line wind. The Bible even tells you in the Torah, in the book of Exodus, that a straight line wind parted the Red Sea. A strong east wind blew all night, parting the Red Sea, causing this unbelievable ability for the children of Israel to walk across the Red Sea in one night. Now, having said all of that, why are planes falling out of the sky? Well, if you start studying the dynamics, the aerodynamics of these straight line winds and the pressure and the gravitational pull that is on our planet that can cause these straight line winds, because you're pushing the jet stream down closer to the surface of the earth. Meteorologists and those who are studying the weather patterns of the world are already confirming that is happening. Although they don't mention Planet X, Nibiru, or a binary system necessarily in their weather reports, they all say something's caused. The Gulf Stream stopped on June the 12th, 2010. And if you get that 4-part DVD series we have, The Heavens Are Shaking, when you watch, there's 4 1-hour DVD discs, each one a different speaker on this subject. The second disc is John Moore. He talks about the fact that the Gulf Stream stopped. It's documented. It's well documented. The Gulf Stream that come out of the Gulf of Mexico into America has stopped. They know the exact day it stopped. Is that because there was a pole shift, a slight pole shift that stopped the Gulf Stream, or is it the gravitational pull that's taking place and it stopped the Gulf Stream, which immediately affects the entire weather patterns everywhere? Now, the heavy radiation, our radiation levels on the earth are now up 18% the last 3 years, folks. And where is all that high radioactive energy going? Well, it's being grabbed by the magnetospheres as much as the magnetospheres can, and it's being sent into the center of the core of our earth, heating the core itself. That in turn is erupting more volcanoes and causing more earthquakes. That's why we have an incredible increase in earthquakes and volcanism throughout this planet. The volcanoes are erupting and breaking records with the numbers of them that are erupting, and dormant volcanoes are reawakening. So with all of this going on, we're seeing airplanes are also just dropping. Now soon, according to Mike Around the World, he told us this 6 years ago, that as these 5 waves of energy will come up on the planet, there will be not only, first there'll be small planes falling, but soon big jets will fall. And this is not because of man-made climate change, although man-made weather modification does affect the weather. Seeding in the clouds to create rains, that can affect the weather. HARP can affect jet streams, no doubt about that. And detonation of nuclear bombs underground can shake a lot of tectonic plates loose and create earthquakes, no doubt about that. So, I mean, there's lots of ways that man can alter weather conditions through weather modification. But all of it combined, cow farts, that kind of thing, I mean, carbon footprints, all of that, forget that. All of it combined has not less than 1% effect on the planet that the arrival of Nibiru or the binary system. It is on its way. And it will match, the things that will happen will match Bible prophecy. When you study 2 Peter chapter 3, when you study the book of Revelation, when you read Isaiah 24 and the pole shifts and the volcanoes, the earthquakes, the earth reeling and rocking, the sounds of the apocalypse in the heavens, the booming and the cracking from the earth, that's all Isaiah 24. Then read Matthew 24, Mark 13, Luke 21, 2 Peter 3. When you study the Bible, you will find out that the prophecies are there of what this arrival will bring. Some would call it the Great Destroyer. Others give it other prophetic words. I'm here to tell you, we're living in the last days. I'll be back with more current world events and how they relate to biblical prophecy. Keep praying for me as I'm having a lot of pain in my ear and headaches over here. So I am doing a lot of resting, but I'll continue to bring forth the power of the Word of God. Jesus is coming soon. God bless. Pray for this. We're trying to get this better.